is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let it go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa, Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Team Goon Squad Cup Series. We are here for race number 9 as we gear up for what will be the final race of the regular season, and we get ready to head into the playoffs. And folks, it is going to be an exciting last few races after we finish this one off here tonight. Folks, I hope you all are ready for what's to come as we gear up for yet another fantastic race, and drivers currently wrapping up qualifying and getting themselves ready to go. We can take a look at where drivers have placed themselves on the starting grid, as there's just a few moments left before that green flag is waved, the checkered flag is waved, and they get themselves back down to their starting grid and get ready to line themselves up. And here it is. Here is our starting row, or our starting lineup. Front row, we have Aaron Smith, Jaden Hopp, with Casey Carrington and Dylan Meyer taking up the second row. Sean Williams and Matthew Fitz in our third row. James Koulibaly, Paul Mikolajczyk in our fourth row, with Charles Jurek in red. Showing up in our roster here today, unfortunately, we had a little bit of technical issues getting him set up for the, race control role here today, so just ignore his entry there for the time being. Scott Shire, Michael Keithley taking up our sixth row here today, and in our final row, we have Steven Shepard and Jeremy Barber. Wrapping up the rest of this field, a little bit of a smaller field than what we are typically used to here for the Cup Series races, but given kind of the stigma, I guess you could say, towards the road courses, it's not too surprising to see that some drivers opted not to attend tonight's race. However, as I mentioned, the last 3 races of the season, heading into the playoffs, it is going to be action-packed. Starting off the playoffs, we head right to Daytona International Speedway. After that, we head to Bristol Motor Speedway, and to round things off, we head to Darlington. A great combination of tracks that I think is a great way to end out the season, and a really exciting way to give these drivers a chance to really see what they have going into the final 3 races of the season. Now, speaking of going into the end of the season here, as they're about to set off here for their first parade lap around the track here, or not necessarily a parade lap, but getting themselves ready to kick things off here. It's going to take a little bit of time before they make their way fully around the track here, but in the meantime, looking at points, looking at who is going to really be the ones to kind of look out for going into the playoffs here, and immediately Nick Beaver, Jaden Hopp, they are practically neck and neck for the lead. Jaden Hopp only 7 points behind Nick Beaver for that lead spot right now, and with Beaver not being here tonight, Jaden Hopp has the opportunity to garner enough points, and frankly, I think he should be able to fairly easily push his way up into the lead. Now that also offers Scott Shire, who's 63 points behind the leader, also an opportunity to potentially push his way up further in the top 3. Currently sitting in that 3rd place spot, still has a chance to get himself further up. Howie Brisk currently sitting in that 4th place spot at the moment, 87 points behind the leader, only 24 behind Scott Shire. at this moment. Given that Howie is not here tonight, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to have any, well, hopefully he doesn't have too much of an impact on his position here tonight, as Matthew Fitz is just behind him in that 5th place spot. 23 points behind Howie Briss here tonight, and if Fitz can have a good race here today, I think that can mean potentially he can move himself further up the top 5 and see what he has in store for himself. And throughout the point standings here, there are battles to be seen all over the place between Max Newworth and Nicholas Caressel. There is only 3 points separating those 2 drivers for the 6th place position. Looking a little bit further down the lineup, Aaron Smith, who currently holds on to 10th place, has Paul Mikolajczyk, Michael Keithley, James Koulibaly, only just points behind him at this point as well. So a lot of close battles that are happening throughout the point standings. It's frankly, there's a lot that I won't go through and list every single one of them at the moment, but out of the 38 drivers who have attended this season so far, I would say there is at least a little more than a half dozen of battles in the point standings at this moment, as we are just about ready to kick things off here for the first time here at Road Atlanta. There it is, the pace car makes it the safety car, makes its way back down into the pit road in the green flag, getting ready to drop from the flag stand. There it is, and away we go with Aaron Smith and Casey Carrington. Going to be up in that front row, and Aaron Smith going to get enough clean air up ahead of him to get away from the pack. That's going to put Jaden Hopp, Casey Carrington nearly door to door. Carrington fall back behind the number 81 machine into that 3rd place position. Sean Williams and Dylan Meyer single file in that 4th and 5th place position at this moment. James Koulibaly and friends, the rest of the field practically following suit here, just maintaining a solid, clean line. And it looks like Steven Shepard and Jeremy Barber have opted not to start the race here tonight. And Steven Shepard, actually, I recall, intended to start the race in the booth with me tonight, but unfortunately, doing a little bit of a mishap. That won't be happening here tonight, but hopefully we can look forward to having Steven up in the booth with us going into playoffs next week at Daytona, which I think will be an exciting race to have one more person up here to kind of talk about the action and to share the excitement, because frankly, Daytona is always something that I look forward to. Both the big super speedways, Talladega, Daytona, always an exciting time. Currently at this moment, Matthew Fitz, Charles Jurek getting into a little bit of a battle here, and also Scott Shire, Michael Keithley looking to gain a little bit of pace here. Scott Shire looking to that inside spot. There it is, looking right around the outside of Charles Jurek. Michael Keithley gonna go to the inside here as well. Jurek looks to be, he's suffering a little bit from pace here. Not quite able to get quite up to speed here. It seems like he's not able to fend off these guys, probably not as well as he would like, or perhaps he's being rather conservative here, as it looks like Shire is taking the opposite approach here with Michael Keithley. He was right on the bumper heading through the S's there just for a moment, and honestly looking very, very impressive here at this moment for these drivers and for this field. Aaron Smith, your current race leader, having Jaden Hopp in that 2nd place position, just about a little over a half a second separating these 2 drivers here at the moment. And knowing Jaden Hopp, I'm more than certain that he's not going to let Aaron Smith get too far away from him, but as we've all seen in the past, Aaron Smith is very, very dominant on these road courses, and I think it will be still a challenge here for Jaden, despite being one of the strongest drivers in the field alongside with Aaron. Now, a lot of these guys here in the midfield showing their prowess here on these road courses, and getting to talk with the drivers a little bit before we started the race here tonight. A lot of them saying they really enjoyed coming here to these road courses. At least some of the drivers have enjoyed kind of learning and adapting with these cars, and it's proving to be a lot of fun, a very enjoyable experience. And to me, I like to hear that. It makes it a very, very reassuring thing to hear from the drivers that they've enjoyed the sprinkle of challenge by adding in just a couple, not too many road courses into the schedule, just to spice things up a little bit and not make it kind of a repeat of every single week. You know, with going back to back with ovals, you gotta throw in a little something every now and then. And another thing that was also mentioned, as I'll mention it to you folks here as well, is the idea of a dirt track on the schedule, and that just tickles me in some kind of way that really makes me want to commentate a race on dirt. That just sounds great time. And I think you folks at home would love it here as well. I don't think we would do more than one, but the possibility of having a dirt track on the schedule next season is very high. Well, I won't say very high, but there is a percentage chance that it might happen here. As we see, whoa, Charles Jurek. Big off-track moment here for the 76, and we just happened to catch it at the right time here. Let's take a quick gander at what happened here. He was real squirrely there. Let's hit the old rewind button on the tape recorder here. It looks to be like he got on that curb, and yeah, the rear end, the entire car just got unsettled there. Probably the right side just did not like coming over that curb, and he had a heck of a time trying to get that car. Did a fantastic job of keeping it right on the track, though. I mean, thankfully no one else was around him in that situation to, cause any sort of wreck, but no damage to the car. Probably scrubbed the tires pretty badly, but you know what? Hey, I would say that's a victory. That's a victory in my book. Car wasn't hurt, driver's not hurt, everyone's fine, everything is hunky-dory. The tires, man, they'll live to see another day. Well, you know what I mean. Anyway, Sean Williams and Paul Mikolajczyk, they're battling it out for the 4th place position, and Mikolajczyk looks to the inside, heading into turn 1 of Sean Williams, and the 89 machine now going to drop back down to the 5th place spot, and there's a little bit of a snap from the rear end of Mikolajczyk, trying to keep that car under control here, and Sean Williams doing everything he can to keep as close as he can to that number 7 machine, and there you can see the distance starting to grow. Oh, there it is. Those curves are definitely not going to be your friend here at Road Atlanta, especially with these cars. They do not enjoy going over those large, chunky curves here. A lot of drivers, I think, they make the mistake of wanting to kind of take the curbing like it's a GT3 car or something of that sort. And these cars just don't have the suspension for it. It is not going to work. And they're frankly a lot lower than a GT3 car here as well, come to think of it. I also don't think the drivers are intentionally hitting these curbs here. I think it's more or less just a oopsie-daisy moment, and I think they're just trying to keep it together here as best as they can, as we're watching along with Aaron Smith and Jaden Hopp. Jaden having brought that gap down to now about a half a second. Previously it was at about 6/10. Now we're at about that half-second mark, so a tenth of a second improvement here from Jaden Hopp relative to Aaron Smith here. But looking at timing and scoring, they are almost equal in pace here. Aaron Smith has got him by just a smidgen, but it is negligible at best. And I think Jaden Hopp might even, well, it's going to be a real tough battle between these two drivers, to be completely honest with you. They're both extremely talented drivers. They both do phenomenally well with tire management, fuel management. The list goes on and on. Both of these drivers, again, they know what they're doing, and it's going to be a real battle between these two drivers on if there's a chance of Jaden Hopp getting out in front of Aaron Smith. It's going to come down to pit strategy more than anything, I think. Potentially, out of all the things that it could come down to, I think pit strategy is going to be the one that really sets these two apart and is going to give one or the other of them an advantage going into the latter half of this race, if you will. They will still have to make that pit stop. I'm guessing it's going to be around that halfway marker. About 20 laps into the race, they'll have to make that quick entry into pit row to ensure that, whoa, Keithley finds himself in a little bit of a pickle here, but quickly recovering from it. No other drivers getting involved. Seemingly staying hunky-dory here. But a lot of this field, out of the 13 drivers, that we have currently, or it's not 13, 11 drivers that we currently have out on the field. There's only about 3 of them that are, well, I should say there's only about 3 battles that are that are under a second at this moment. The furthest one being between Sean Williams and Dylan Meyer. Dylan sitting at about 0.8 of a second behind Sean Williams. The next closest one is between Charles Jurek and Matthew Fitz. And right as we tune to the 69 machine, Fitz goes off track here, almost colliding with Michael Keithley, who's making his entry through that turn. Luckily, Michael able to avoid any contact there. Saw that he was making his way back onto the track and made the necessary moves to avoid that as best as he could. But definitely not a situation you want to end up in as a driver. Just making your way around the track and having a driver who's just trying to get back on the track just run right into you. That's always a great feeling, especially if any of you have done any of the iRacing official races. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, Keithley, big moment here from the 53 machine, almost digs into the grass and flips it over. Very, very close here for Keithley. That was definitely a white-knuckle moment here from the 53 driver as, wow, that could have ended very, very badly. And I'm frankly kind of impressed here at the fact that iRacing, or it was even possible that the tires could even do that with iRacing grass. Anyone who's been on the service long enough, they know, and probably can attest to this when I say this, that the grass doesn't feel like actual grass. It kind of feels a little different. It almost feels like glass sometimes. It's not quite what you would expect to happen, and to see that kind of start to dig in there, it looks like, at least from that angle and from what it seemed like. But yeah, that was something I haven't actually noticed before up until now. I wonder if that's something that they've done recently or if I'm just blind. Either way, that was cool. Jaden Hopp still in the chase for the lead. We also have in the chat throwing out shout-outs, supporting their favorite drivers. Lindsay, as always, great to see you, great to have you. Ravla, always great to have you here as well. Shouting out both Jaden, Aaron as well. Fish as well. Yeah, okay. Anyway, moving on. As always, folks, it's great to have everyone who's tuning along and watching the action live. It's always great to see the support from not only you fans who are in the comments and rooting for your favorite drivers and kind of chatting with me up here in the booth from time to time. It's always nice to, have that sort of personal interaction between people who watch these broadcasts, as well as being able to put on the best show that we can for you folks, and frankly, put on some great races, as this has been fairly exciting so far. We just saw James Coulibaly there. You just saw him in the camera there for just a second. Number 22 driver going down the lap as the leaders get past that number 22 driver, and there goes Michael Keithley now as well. Gonna drop down to a lap under as the leaders are just blowing through the field, putting out an absolute clinic here. It is great to see these two drivers staying within under a second at this point in time. Jaden Hopp has not let that gap dwindle down too much and has stayed very consistent here. I think is mainly just mimicking the line of Aaron Smith here. A little wobbly there. That curve definitely getting them there for a second, but he recovered very well. And again, just Jaden Hopp trying to stay as close as he can, trying to mimic that line of Aaron Smith and stay as close as possible to that line as he possibly can muster here. Now, after that little bit of a hiccup going through the S's, dropping to just over a second here, but just barely. Trying to reel back in Aaron Smith at this moment, and right now the rest of the field kind of settling in. Everyone's got their own bit of room to work with. We're looking above from the blimp camera at the number 89 machine, just taking a look at how things are from this perspective and getting a better look at how they're maneuvering their way through this track here. You can see Sean Williams not quite as aggressive as we've seen other drivers on these corner entry and exits. Definitely staying a little bit safer, I would say. Not trying to get too far over the curb, and maybe even just avoiding a lot of these curves in general, not wanting to get too close to them, and for that I completely understand. If I recall correctly, we've already seen Sean Williams get a little bit of a close call with the curve earlier on and having to save it a little bit back, but still out here, still racing, and so far no one has retired their cars yet. Everyone's still out here on track, turning the laps, and frankly just having a good time. And I think at this point, when everyone's got just clean air to work with, there's not really much you have to worry about. It's just turning laps, staying consistent, and keeping your car clean. That's basically the name of the game at this point. You don't have to worry about someone coming up on your tail unless you're really, really lacking on pace and you just are getting a little complacent behind the wheel, which can't happen. It's definitely something I've experienced as in my time of sim racing. You get by yourself and all of a sudden there's, you look down one moment and you look down at your black box and it says, oh, okay, there's, to your relative, and 10 seconds behind you, there's the next guy. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, we're doing good, everything is fine. And then all of a sudden, he's right in your mirror. What happened? Well, you started slowing down, you got a little complacent, got a little comfortable, maybe broke out the lazy boy a little bit. You know how it goes. Anyway, point being, I've actually got a little bit of development here while I was rambling about getting complacent. Aaron Smith not being complacent, getting down into pit road, nice and early. Lap 13 of 40. I'm a little surprised by that one here as well. I wonder if he's planning on making this a two-stop race. It probably will be a two-stop race, actually. That's more likely the scenario here. But meanwhile, that does mean Jaden Hopp will hold on to the lead for the time being. Casey Harrington, the number 38 driver, moves up to that second place spot for the time being here as well. But does this mean that we're going to start to see other drivers start to file their way into pit road and kind of repeat the same process here? Jaden's not going to this time around. Well, he's going to stay out. He's still staying fast here. We're looking at about a 126 was his last time around, and his best time here today has been a 124.6. So about 2 seconds difference from when he started this race. And you know what? Let's actually ride on board here for just a moment. We don't get a good view of his hands there, so we're going to go to his... There we go. We're going to look on board here with Jaden Hobb and get a good idea of just what he's doing. Get a good look at, excuse me, as it was probably very loud for a lot of you, and you probably couldn't hear what I was saying. But anyway, getting a good look at what Jaden Hobb is doing behind the wheel here and seeing just how difficult it might be to keep this thing under control. Currently flying. Oh yeah, he is definitely slipping and sliding his way through the track right now, but a great execution through the chicane. And you can just hear the throttle input as well, very gentle. I wonder if at this point he's going to make that decision to come down into pit road this next lap, because these tires are definitely fighting him at this point in time. Now, let's take a look at the difference between old tires and new tires. Riding on board with Aaron Smith, the number 70 machine, as he comes up to Casey Carrington, the second place driver, and just drives on past him as Carrington gets on the brake there to let him on by. Doesn't want to make too much of a fuss of it, as he knows, he's very well aware of the fact that he's on significantly older tires. Aaron Smith setting the fastest lap of the race with a 123.97. And his pace right now is right now between himself and Jaden Hobb. He's got about a 29-second gap, and that is closing quick here at the moment. With 26 laps left to go, and you can see as well, just by looking from the from the input here of Aaron Smith, you can see the wheel. He's not cranking on it nearly as much as Jaden Hobb was. Let's see, through the chicane here. The car does not slide nearly as much or hardly at all, but also Aaron Smith had a very good line into the chicane as well. Listen to the throttle. Nearly identical between Aaron Smith and Jaden Hobb. Jaden might have been a little bit lighter on his run through the chicane there, but it is obvious that Aaron Smith has significantly more control with those newer tires than Jaden Hobb and Sean Williams and the rest of the field, who has opted not to take any fresh tires yet. With 25 laps left to go, Casey Carrington down in pit road, and a few other drivers have made their entry down into pit road here as well. Paul Mikolajczyk being one of them, Scott Shire, as well as Michael Keithley. Now, it looks like Michael Keithley, unfortunately, has retired from the race here tonight, so it's always great to have the Shrek machine out there on track, but it looks to be that he's going to call it a day here at Road Atlanta. But a big thank you and a big shout out to Michael for being out here tonight and giving it a good old college try, if you will, as they like to say. Lindsay took the words right out of my mouth, or, well, relatively speaking. Jaden Hopp, yeah, riding the bleeding edge here of the kind of pit window, if you will. I did say that the estimated pit window would be about 20 laps, but given just how difficult it is to maintain this pace right now for Jaden, I mean, the last time that I mentioned Aaron Smith's gap to Jaden Hopp, that's dropped to now 26.5 seconds. Just to put things into perspective there. And that is a huge gain in a short period of time. So there goes Jaden Hopp. The decision was made, and he's going to come down into pit road. Now, unfortunately, I do think that's going to give the lead back to Aaron Smith. But what could happen here is that Jaden might be able to, well, let's see here. Still in the pit. Aaron's just now past pit exit, and now Jaden is just now exiting pit road, and he's back out. So let's get back up to speed here. So he's now sitting at about it's going to come up to probably about 7.5 seconds, I would imagine. Now Aaron Smith is currently outpacing Jaden, but given that he's on those very fresh tires, he's going to have to wear those in, get them up to temperature. Then he'll be off to the races here. But yeah, coming hot out of the pits, and with about 7 seconds of a gap to Aaron Smith. I mean, that is still a tall order. Definitely not going to be easy to find that time with 23 laps left to go. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Jaden. I think out of every driver in this field, if there's anyone that if I had to put money on to try and make that gap and try and bring it down, Jaden would definitely be one of those drivers I think could do it. Now, however, I should note, with him being by himself now, this could change things a little bit, sort of. If he's not able to kind of keep that pace up, and if he has nothing to reference, in how fast he is compared to Aaron here, which coming across the line now, it actually is showing that he's starting to improve that gap here little by little. So we'll wait and see. But again, there's a lot of factors that have to come into play here in order for this gap to really start to dwindle down. But timing and scoring showing that he's slowly chipping away at that gap, and we'll check back in a while and see if that has changed significantly or much at all. Right now, it's all a matter of just staying focused and staying consistent here, as we see Charles Jurek locking up the tires there just a little bit and being able to keep that car on the track and not getting himself in too much more of an issue, or into a situation there that he needed to, or would want to there, I should say. Oh, right as I say, it's a big flip here from the 76 machine. Goes for a heck of a ride. The Battle Bit 76 machine goes flipping multiple times. I think that was at least 4 or 5 flips here. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Here it is. Bang. Right into the wall, and there's 1, 2. And I guess you could count this one being the third one, getting back onto his wheels. Or maybe 4. Okay, 3. All right, we'll call it 3. He seems to be okay. Charles Jurek still racing the now mangled 76 machine, giving a thumbs up to the medical crews that were racing to the scene. He just said, hey, I'm good. No need. My ribs aren't broken or anything. I'm totally fine. Concussion? What concussion? I've never heard of it. And Redmond saying no mandatory repairs needed. That is actually kind of amazing. The fact that Jurek was able to continue driving, it's still maintaining pace, it seems like. He's not exactly tracking anyone down, but the fact that he doesn't need to come down into pit road and to get anything fixed here, I mean, hey, kudos. You've made it look awesome, and you still get to keep racing. So, hey, it works out, but definitely probably doesn't want to try and do that one again. I don't think it's going to work 2 times in a row. But Charles Jurek definitely making things interesting here, and coming down into pit road, little curious as to if he actually does need any sort of repairs, or if this is going to be his first pit stop of the race. I don't think it's his first one. I'm pretty sure this would be his second. Yes, this is his second stop. So something definitely seems to be not quite right here for Charles Jurek, as there goes up onto, oops, that's the wrong camera, as he goes up onto the jacks. And hopefully the pit crew is going to be able to get some of that damage repaired and get that 76 machine back out there and back racing before too long here. Watching along with Sean Williams here, holding on to that 5th place position. And Redmond coming in saying he's got 8 minutes and 30 seconds of repair time, but it's optional. And that is just, so he literally just banged up the bodywork and maybe busted up. Oh man, that is incredible. Just the fact that he was able to roll 3 times and not damage the suspension. I mean, he was on his side, for crying out loud. I mean, he was completely on his side, and that didn't damage anything to the point where it needed to be fixed. That's, I mean, it's optional, I guess. I guess you could say that would be optional. It probably is just not going to drive very straight, would be my guess. It's probably got some sort of alignment issue and some other things going on with it. I would have to guess. But the fact that he's still out there, still chugging laps, well, actually, I take that back. He's still down here in pit road. He's getting some things banged out and worked out. I, don't blame him for that either. I think he, like I said, I think there's definitely something that's preventing him from going full pace here. So he's getting some of those things banged out, worked out. Hopefully we'll be able to get back onto the track here before too long. 18 laps left to go before we get the checkered flag waved. We wrap this one up here. Jaden Hopp, last time that I mentioned the gap between himself and Aaron Smith was at about 6.5 seconds. That has now dwindled down to under 3.5 seconds and improving by the second. Jaden Hopp on an absolute flyer here, as he has now worked it down to just, now under 3 seconds and climbing, as he is full send, full rip, and it looks to be that actually Aaron Smith getting caught up in a little bit of lap traffic here, slowing him down, and that is just the opportunity that Jaden Hopp needs to get back up there and keep fighting for that lead. With 18 laps left to go, he has got nothing but time. Well, not a lot of time, but he's got time. With lap times being about 1 minute we'll say a minute 26 seconds on average. You can do the math, and yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see just what Jaden Hopp is going to try to do here, and really if there's going to be any sort of any more lap traffic that's going to get involved here, that's going to slow any of these drivers, or well, that's going to slow particularly Aaron Smith down to the point that, well, to the point where Jaden Hopp needs to be in that fighting range. As now it's kind of leveling off here at that 3-second margin, so I'd have to imagine that there are a lot of the drivers who are kind of spaced out around the track at the moment. There actually is a driver that they will be coming up on here pretty quickly, I think. I want to say Aaron Smith is closing in on Sean Williams here. Yeah, he's a little further up ahead, but that would be the next closest driver, lap driver, that he would have to worry about. You can kind of see him off in the distance there, but even still, Jaden still closing that gap little by little, to now 2 seconds between himself and Aaron Smith. Just taking a little bit of a ride on board. Charles Jurek coming in chat saying I flipped. Yeah, we saw. It was kind of cool. Jaden Hopp just making this stuff look easy, and honestly, you know, I wonder if while he was in the pits, if they, you know, if they had one of the pit crew plug in the computer and quickly change the tune on the car real quick and give it an extra, you know, 10, 20 horsepower, because Jaden is just absolutely shredding this gap right now between himself and Aaron Smith. And while it has to be noted, there's a 5-lap difference in tires between these two right now. That's not a huge amount when you talk about ovals, but for road courses, that actually starts to add up pretty quickly. And 5 laps is, you know, especially here at Road Atlanta on a semi-technical track. I wouldn't say this is one of the most technical tracks on iRacing, but definitely one that you gotta be mindful of. You definitely have to be careful, and there's a lot of sweeping turns and things of that nature. But yeah, with that 5-lap difference, here it is. Jaden Hopp pulls up to the bumper of the number 70 machine, the lean, mean yellow banana. The rain is going to now come down to this. Jaden Hopp looking to secure his spot in the lead for the championship heading into the playoffs next week at Daytona. Aaron Smith holds it to the inside through the chicane. He gets sideways and holds onto it, but it's not enough as Jaden Hopp gets out in front of Aaron Smith. Aaron sliding his way down through pit road. A big mistake here for the number 70 machine, trying to keep it together as he is fighting to hold on to the lead. And Aaron Smith now going to just be kicking himself, driving through pit road and trying his quickest to get back out onto the field. Gonna make a quick pit stop, get on those fresher set of tires, and finish this one out. 14 laps left to go. The gap is going to be considerable between himself and Jaden, but That is exactly what Jaden Hopp was looking for and was waiting for, and it happened. Jaden being served an absolute incredible pass by Jaden Hopp being made here tonight, and Aaron Smith putting an extremely valiant effort up, fighting to hold on to that spot, and it was just incredible to see these two drivers going at it as well as they were. Aaron Smith now finally back out onto the track here, and with a 32-second gap, gotta also pay attention to that Jaden Hopp came in on lap 17. That theoretically, he's still gonna have to come back down into pit road to grab a fresh set of tires. Aaron Smith, he's all set to go. Taking the undercut strategy here, I think Aaron Smith is now going to put himself in the position to, well, I think he might be able to take away this lead here. Now, if the thing is, the driver's pit lap times are at about 40 to 41 seconds between each other at this moment. So, with that in mind, if Jaden Hopp were to come into pit road right now, when he comes back out, he would have roughly about a 10-second deficit to Aaron Smith. A little bit more than what well, actually, that might not even be completely true. Perhaps. But Casey Carrington, he's going to come back down into pit road. Third place driver, the number 38 machine, the Great Clips machine out here, holding on to a podium spot, going to come down into pit road, grab a fresh set of tires, fill up on fuel for the last time, and finish this one out. The last 13 laps, a dash to the end, and here comes Jaden Hopp, making his way back down to pit road for the last time, and we'll see just how quickly he can get himself in and out of pit road before we see Aaron Smith track back the leader. We'll patiently await for that exit here, and actually it looks to be, there it is. Jaden Hopp makes his way out, but Aaron Smith's already making his way past pit exit. But even as he does so, the gap between Jaden Hopp and Aaron Smith is only 3.5 seconds. Now, this is where it all comes down to it. Aaron Smith and Jaden Hopp. Who will come away victorious today after an absolutely incredible battle between these two drivers in this race? Paul Mikolajczyk gonna make his final entry down into pit road with 12 laps left to go. Dwindling down the clock here as we get closer and closer to the checkered flag. Checking back in with Jaden Hopp here. Still sitting at about a 3.5 second gap between himself and Aaron Smith, but as we can see here, Aaron now going to be following behind a little bit of lap traffic in the form of James. No, that is not James Coulibaly. Who is that? That is Dylan Meyer, I think. No, it's not Dylan Meyer. That's the number 77, whomst you be? Oh, that's Paul Mikolajczyk. Dang it, Paul! You fooled me again. Anyway, Paul Mikolajczyk, the number 77 driver, showing as 7 in timing and scoring. Anyhow, point being, Paul here giving Aaron Smith a little bit of lap traffic to work his way through, and that's only going to bring the gap down to about 3.3 seconds between himself and Jaden Hopp now. So with 10 laps left to go here, consistency is going to be absolutely key here. And there it is from Paul Mikolajczyk, taking the local route. And doing his best to stay out of the way of the lap leaders as well. But Paul Mikolajczyk holding on to that 5th place position here as well. I think Paul's going to be satisfied with a top 5 finish in a road course race here as well. So great work from Paul Mikolajczyk and from the rest of the field, frankly. It's been a very, very good race from this field. And it looks to be, we've had 3 retirements from the race here. Dylan Meyer, Charles Jurek, and Michael Keithley. All 3 of these drivers have opted to take the cars back into the trailer and just enjoy the race from the paddocks. And, well, we'll hope to see them again going into the playoffs and heading into Daytona as we gear up for just an absolutely incredible start to the playoffs. Looking at a race at Daytona. Now, tuning back into Jaden Hopp, the last lap that he just set here, coming across the line, setting the fastest lap of the race, a 123.95. Just 0.02 of a second. 0.02 of a second quicker than Aaron Smith's previous best lap, a 23.97, a 123.97 being set by Aaron Smith. So Jaden Hopp equaling that, even bettering it by just a slim margin. But Jaden out here trying with 9 laps left to go to reel in the number 70 driver of Aaron Smith, showing that he is not the only one to look out for on these road courses, and Jaden Hopp has quickly become a very, very strong competitor in this season, and frankly has been a pleasure to watch every single week. Laps left to go. Things are very quite calm on the track at the moment. So with that being said, and since things have been quiet for some time, let's just take a little bit of a moment to just appreciate some sights and sounds here at Road Atlanta, and we'll ride on board here with Jaden Hopp. Just have a listen for a lap around here at Road Atlanta. That was just a little bit of a lap on board with Jaden Hopp now as we pass. So we're now entering 6 laps left to go here for race number 9, Team Goon Squad Cup Series. And Lindsay asking, is this is also for the regular season championship? I actually did not think of that when I did all the points and stuff, creating all of this. So we'll say yes, but I did not plan for it. So not officially, I guess. Either way, though, that was a little bit of an oversight on my part. But either way, if Jaden Hopp finishes, even if he finishes second here, which right now he's starting to close that gap to almost under a half a second as he's starting to get closer and closer to the bumper of Aaron Smith with 6 laps left to go. He is definitely cranking up the heat here today at Road Atlanta, but as I mentioned, Jaden Hopp, whether he finishes second or first here tonight, he would technically be considered the regular season champion once things are all said and done, just because of where he's going to stand in the points after today's race, and because of Nick Beaver's absence here for tonight's race. That will push him into that spot. So, oh boy. So long as if he keeps this keeps this pace up here. I mean, either way, he's only got 7 points to Nick Beaver, so should be fine regardless. About a half a second between these two drivers, and just watching Jaden at this moment in the race is just exciting to see. And Aaron Smith, I mean, he is definitely not making this an easy accomplishment here for Jaden if he's able to pull it off. And Aaron definitely wants to come away with this lead if he can. I think that unintentional entry down into pit road definitely kind of threw a wrench in the gears for Aaron, but I think it also gave him a bit of an opportunity as well to put himself back up into this lead spot without really too much of a hassle. It's just now he's got to commit, he's got to fight, and he's got to dig in order to hold on to this spot. And I think Aaron could do that under pressure. I think he can do it under pressure. It's just this is going to be a tough 4 laps with Jaden Hopp right on his heel. Laps left to go. It is coming down to the wire, and with these two being the only battle on the track, you can expect to see that these two for a little while, unless something develops here that we don't see right now, or at least foresee happening at this moment. But for the time being, this is the hottest action we've got on the track at the moment, and frankly, when it's a battle for the lead, what else could there be to see at that moment? As Hopp is now just almost a 1/10 of a second to Aaron Smith. We saw it there for a moment, getting up to the bumper of that number 70 machine. Aaron Smith keeping that pace up. He's not going down without a fight. And Tires definitely not going to be an excuse for either of these drivers, as there's only a 2-lap difference between them as far as tires are concerned. Getting through the chicane. A little bit of a better entry from Jaden Hobb. That's going to put him in a very good spot on the exit, right on the bumper of the number 70 machine, heading through the final right-hander. And across the checkered line, Jaden Hobb gonna be now just 0.2 of a second to Aaron Smith heading into turn number 1. Got to keep the pace up here as we head through the S's. Almost gonna look to the inside, try and get alongside him. 2 laps left to go. The rear end kicks away from him for a second, keeps it together. Not letting that pace fall off too much here. He's got to keep this one clean. Jaden Hobb pushing with everything that he's got. And Aaron Smith defending like everything, with everything he's got. Very clean for both of these drivers. No mistakes can be made. This is the most intense game of high-speed chess that one could possibly imagine. Here we go again through the chicane, getting right up to the bumper. Don't let the rear end get away from you. And he doesn't. Good exit from both of them. Aaron Smith correcting his mistake from last time. Not gonna let that one happen again as we come across the line. The white flag is waved from the flag stand, and it is the last chance to dance. Jaden Hobb trying to give it all he can through turn 1, heading into the S's. Staying right on the tail of Aaron Smith here as best as he can. Aaron getting up onto the curbs there for a moment. Doesn't slow him down too much here. 0.3 separating these two drivers. A high-speed chase right into the draft of the number 70 machine. Jaden stays within 0.1 of a second of Aaron Smith. Aaron gets a little loose going into the hairpin. Jaden gonna try and take advantage of it, go to the outside. Aaron still trying to get the power down on that number 70 machine. They go side by side. Here we go. The battle for the lead has come down to this. There is still the chicane left to go. Aaron, he's gonna fit himself into a defensive spot, but he slides. Now it's Jaden Hobb going through the grass. Aaron Smith gonna walk it away, and he's got nothing left but one turn as Jaden Hobb and Aaron Smith both fighting tooth and nail heading into the chicane, and Jaden Hobb gonna slide it across the checkered line. But you know what? That's it. You did it, buddy. You came away with that second place spot, and you fought like hell for it. Aaron Smith as well, fending like no other to come away with that title. Man, oh man, what a doozy of a finisher here from these two drivers. Absolutely incredible. Hats off to both of them. Wow. Wowee. I'm out of breath after that one. Holy cow. I love it, Aaron. I love it. Alrighty, folks, so you can see the unofficial results on the left-hand side of your screen. Woo! As I gather my breath here, we're going to go ahead and get ready for a little post-race interview action. Man, oh man. Wow. Wow, what a race. We still have a few drivers that are making their way throughout the field here. We've got Casey Carrington and a few other drivers that still have to make their way across the checkered line here. It looks like, nope, there it is. Okay, post-race results, perfect. Everyone's all set. good to go. Aaron Smith celebrating, doing his thing. And just, wow. I'm still in disbelief at how intense those last few laps were. I mean, that was just incredible. I could not believe what we saw there. That was a great way to end out the race on a very high note. Now, let's head into post-race interviews, starting off with Mr. Casey Carrington coming in third place here, the number 38 machine finishing up on the podium. Casey, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on a third place finish here tonight. A very, well, honestly, a tough race here for everyone in the field. I mean, it was a lot of action that was happening mostly in the beginning of the race for a majority of the field. And if you were in the top 5, there was more action that was developing. Things settled out towards the end, and Casey, I mean, once things kind of got to the point where you could just focus on turning laps, I mean, how comfortable were you feeling out there? Was there any sorts of issues that you were experiencing? Any sort of oopsie-daisy moments that you experienced that might have cost you your podium here? What kind of talk to me about your race here tonight?
Could you ask the question again? No. Yeah, it wasn't very comfortable for me. I mean, I came in with very little practice, but, come to find out, hey, if you back it down like 2 seconds a lap, it's a lot easier to drive. So that's pretty much what I did. I knew I wasn't going to be able to hang with Aaron and Jaden, so I was pretty much just riding around. And, yeah, I had the one incident there with about 5 to go when they were right behind me, about to lap me, which that made me mad because, one, I hadn't had an incident the whole race. I still had a 0x at that point and got a 1x there. And then plus, to make it even worse, then I couldn't watch them battle for the win right in front of me afterwards because they were too far down the track by the time I got back on it. So, but yeah, it was a fun night. I mean, this is a fun combination. It's tough, but, I feel like we're getting good practice when rain comes to iRacing because that's about what it felt like here tonight.
You know what? And that is a great point that you made. The rain, I think, is going to make a great addition when it finally does make its way onto the service. But, Casey, I mean, with this being kind of the final race of the regular season heading into the playoffs, next week we head to Daytona. What's kind of your outlook there? I know it's kind of a wild card track to head to. You're never certain of where you're going to start or even finish, for that matter. But what's the old Magic 8 Ball telling you for next week at Daytona?
If I can survive a wreck, I'll be happy. That's pretty much my mentality here at Daytona and Talladega. So, I mean, not here, but I mean in any series, anything on iRacing. I mean, there's been so many races that are probably broadcasted on Team Goon Squad that I led half the race and then got wrecked out of the lead or got wrecked coming to the pits and all that. So I'm just going to ride around and kind of hope to finish. And, I know these guys are running for points and all that and running for the championship. I came on kind of late to do that. So I'm just going to ride around and try to stay out of people's way like I did the last 2 weeks.
Well, Casey, I think you did a phenomenal job of putting yourself out there enough to come away with a podium finish and fighting with a lot of strong drivers in this field. I mean, obviously, Jaden and Aaron are kind of in a league of their own, if you will, but for the rest of the field, it was pretty evenly matched there for a while, and then everyone kind of just got a little bit of air time to work with and really just focus on clicking off laps. And really, I think it's just a great way for all of our drivers that attend these road course races to kind of just improve in that sort of department, if you will. But Casey, before we round things out here tonight, before you head out of the booth and head back to the garage, anyone you want to give a shout out to or thank you before you go?
Yeah, shout out to you for doing the broadcast. Shout out to everybody at the Goon Squad family. This is the first time I've been on this network here. Well, I guess 2 weeks ago, but other than that, with this series, first time I've been here in a while. Good to be back. Shout out to everybody that watched tonight and everybody that competed. Like I said, I know it was a really tough race, and there's probably a bit of a lull there where there wasn't too much action going on track. But like I said, I hope you guys stayed entertained. And shout out to Aaron and Jaden for their win. Like you said, they were in a class of their own. I kind of looked at it like they were as like a multi-class race. They were in their own class, and I was the winner of the everybody else class. So I'll take that.
Well, Casey, you did fantastic here tonight. I look forward to seeing you next week and in the rest of the races here throughout this season. But congratulations again, and good luck to you next week, and hopefully get to talk to you again in a similar capacity here before the season's over.
Yep, thank you. Hopefully you will.
Absolutely. You have a great night.
See ya.
Alrighty, folks, so that was Casey Carrington, the number 38 driver, coming out of the booth with the third place finish here tonight. Next up, I've been waiting for this for a minute here. Jaden, welcome to the booth. I know you're a man of few words, Jaden, but you know what? You put on a just wow. You had both me and your mom's heart racing going into the last lap of this race, and frankly putting on an absolutely impressive performance. Not only did you close the gap to Aaron Smith once, but twice. You managed to do it twice. First time it was a little over 7 seconds that you managed to bring it down. Next time you managed to do it with about 3.5 seconds. I mean, Jaden, you were on fire here tonight at Road Atlanta. I mean, what do you think kind of led to your success here tonight, Jaden?
I was trying to beat him as best as possible, but I don't think I would have caught him the second time. The lap cars definitely helped that, but I tried to keep it as exciting as possible for you guys up in the booth.
Well, you definitely hit that marker extremely well, and I think everyone watching at home, I think certainly enjoyed that as well. But Jaden, I mean, with let me find my words here, with Nick Beaver not being here tonight, that also means that you move up into the lead spot for the championship, and with this being the last round of the regular season, how does it feel going into the playoffs, knowing that you are now the guy in the hot seat and you're the one in contention to come away with that championship for the 2023 Team Goon Squad Cup Series?
I'd say I'm pretty excited for the playoffs. I'm not sure how Daytona will go. That's always usually a lottery. As long as Bristol goes good, I think Darlington would be pretty good, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, Jaden, I'm certainly excited to see what you have in store, and frankly, what the rest of this field is going to have in store for us going into these final few races. But before I let you go here, Jaden, and head back to the garage, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to or thank you before you go?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast league, and my mom, grandma, and uncle and aunt for watching the race back home.
Absolutely. Well, Jaden, I want to thank you again for joining me up here in the booth and congratulate you again for coming away on that podium. Incredible work. I know it probably didn't end the way that you wanted it to, but man, oh man, that was spectacular. Congratulations again, Jaden. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You have a good one. Alrighty, folks, so that was Jaden Hopp coming away with second place and doing a fantastic job of it as well. But the man of the hour, Aaron Smith, the lean, mean, yellow banana. Aaron, wow. I got to tell you, talking with Jaden here as well, I mean, you two put on a heck of a show going into the final lap of this race. And, I mean, Aaron, when Jaden pulled alongside you, heading into the final few turns, I mean, what was heading into your head? What was going through your mind at that point? I mean, heading into the last chicane, you guys were door to door. Jaden goes off into the grass. I mean, just walk me through your mental process leading up to that moment.
Well, I knew it was going to be a pretty tough corner there. I overdrove it the last few times leading up to the final lap, but I wanted to make sure I didn't take Jaden out because he'd been racing me really well earlier on, and certainly those last few laps he had plenty of opportunities to wreck me and he didn't, so I appreciate that and I'll certainly pay that forward. I got to race him for another 120 laps here in about half an hour, so that'll be fun, but yeah, I'm glad we were able to have a clean run to the finish there, and I'm glad I was somehow able to pull that out.
Well, Aaron, I mean, you absolutely put on a great show here, a great race, and you defended extremely well. I mean, both you and Jaden were similar in tires, and you honestly had a very, I don't want to say lucky, but I will say an unplanned kind of entry there into pit road that caused you to kind of be, I don't want to say it, well, let's just say, it caused you to be in the lead at some point, and it was a very interesting turn of events, is what I'm trying to get at here, Aaron. And just what you had to go through tonight to retain this lead spot and stay up here in the front was just absolutely incredible. And to top it off, the cherry on top, the battle with Jaden Hopp, just absolutely incredible. But with this night out of the way, the regular season now in the rearview mirror. Heading next week to Daytona, we start the playoffs. So, what's kind of your goal heading into the playoffs? I know you're sitting you're sitting in the 10th place position for points. I'm sure that's probably changed once I get those points updated. But what's kind of your goal heading into these last few races that we have? Having Daytona next week, Bristol the following week, and then Darlington to wrap it all up.
Well, I'm not too sure if I'll be able to run the entire race for the rest of the season, but I'll certainly try to show up and see if I can gain some points. I don't know where I'll be in the standings for the playoffs, but I'll try to make a run at it.
Well, Aaron, I'm certainly looking forward to it. It's always a pleasure to see you out here. You always put on an incredible performance every single time. So it's always a pleasure to have you here, and you're always more than welcome to be here and to show everyone else how it's done here on these road courses and in a lot of other races that we've seen you do phenomenally well at. But Aaron, before I let you go, before you go crack open a cold one, celebrate with your fellow drivers, teammates, and everyone in your pit crew. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or thank before you head out tonight?
And as always, I'd like to thank all y'all at Team Goon Squad for putting these races on, putting the broadcast up. It's always a blast going back and rewatching it. And I'd like to thank all the folks in the field for sticking around for the whole race and putting on a solid show. It was pretty difficult getting past some of those lap cars in that really tight section, but we were able to make the most of it, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes.
Absolutely. I'm certainly looking forward to it here as well, Aaron, and it's always great chatting with you, and I hope to get to talk to you again before the season's over, but if I don't, good luck to you in the next few races, and hopefully get to see you as well in our next few seasons that we plan to have here at the Cup Series.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, Aaron. You have yourself a good one.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, folks, and that is going to do it for us here tonight. Race number 9 of the Team Goon Squad Cup Series coming to a close here tonight at Road Atlanta. It has been an absolutely astounding race here tonight, ending off on an incredibly high note with both Aaron Smith and Jaden Hobb fighting tooth and nail until the very end. But as always, my name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad throughout the week. And as always, see you same time, same place next week as we head to Daytona International Superspeedway to kick off race number 10 and the start of the playoffs. Look forward to seeing you all there. Hope to see you all there. In the meantime, we'll see you all next week.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Bolts. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Borcel, Sean.
It looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Rick Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Nice to go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the 1-on-1 up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 to lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons